Camping is supposed to be an escape, a break from the chaos of everyday life and a chance to reconnect with nature. But what happens when the wilderness hides something far more sinister? Tonight, I'm sharing a chilling story that happened in July of 1992, a tale that has haunted everyone involved ever since. It was a warm summer weekend when four college friends Alex, Rachel, Tom, and Megan decided to go camping in the dense forests of Washington state. They were eager for adventure, armed with tent, food, and a map of the area. The spot they chose was remote, miles away from the nearest town, surrounded by towering pines and a winding river. The first day was perfect. They hiked, swam in the river, and cooked dinner over the campfire. As night fell, they shared ghost stories, laughing at each other's exaggerated tales. But as the fire burned low and the forest grew darker, they began to notice an unsettling silence. The usual sounds of crickets and rustling leaves had vanished, replaced by an eerie stillness. Around midnight, they decided to call it a night. The two tents were pitched side by side, and the group settled in for what they thought would be a peaceful sleep. But just as Alex was drifting off, a faint rustling sound outside the tent jolted him awake. He nudged Tom, whispering that some ionia or something was moving nearby. Tom dismissed it as an animal, but Alex wasn't convinced. The rustling grew louder, now accompanied by slow, deliberate footsteps. Rachel, in the neighboring tent, whispered, "Did you hear that?" The group fell silent, straining their ears. Suddenly, a low, guttural voice muttered something unintelligible from just outside their tents. Panic set in. Alex grabbed a flashlight and unzipped the tent, shining the beam into the darkness. The light illuminated nothing but trees. "Hello," he called out, his voice shaky. No response. Just as he was about to retreat, the flashlight flickered and died. That's when they heard a blood-curdling scream, distant but unmistakable, echoing through the forest. It didn't sound like an animal, it sounded human. Rachel and Megan began to panic, pleading with the others to pack up and leave immediately. But in the dark, navigating their way back to the car seemed impossible. They decided to wait until dawn, huddling together in one tent for safety. The hours crawled by, each minute feeling like an eternity. The footsteps returned, circling the tent, sometimes fast, sometimes slow, as if taunting them. Occasionally, the same guttural voice would mutter words they couldn't understand. When the first light of dawn broke, they cautiously stepped out of the tent, ready to make their escape. What they saw made their blood run cold. Around their campsite were dozens of footprints, a bear, human-like, but unusually large. Scattered among the prints were strange symbols etched into the dirt, as if someone had been performing some kind of ritual. They grabbed their gear and ran, abandoning most of their supplies. The hike back to the car felt endless, every snap of a twig making them jump. When they finally reached their vehicle, they piled in and sped off without looking back. Later, when they told their story to local authorities, they were met with skepticism. The sheriff dismissed it as a prank or their imaginations running wild. But the friends knew what they had experienced was real. A few weeks later, Alex decided to research the area and discovered something chilling. The forest had a dark history, reports of strange disappearances and sightings of a shadowy figure dating back decades. Locals avoided the area, calling it cursed. To this day, none of them have gone camping again. They still wake up at night, haunted by the memories of that voice, those footsteps, and the unshakable feeling that something or someone had been watching them the entire time. And so, the next time you venture into the wilderness, remember, you may not be as alone as you think.